Hello, friends and neighbors. I'm Tyler Wren, East Nantmeal Township's Democratic Supervisor. We're here today for the third annual East Nantmeal Barnstorming for Democratic candidates, and the first and only, we hope, virtual one. Join us. Our past barnstorming events have provided our progressive Democratic candidates with a relaxed community atmosphere in which our local residents can meet the candidates, ask questions, and become informed, and spend time with their neighbors. Regretfully, this year, with the pandemic upon us, I'm here in the barn and you're not. But the positive result of being virtual this year through video is that you can watch this at any time at your convenience, multiple times if you can take it, and you can, and we encourage you to, share this with your friends and neighbors. What will you see and hear on this video? Our first two Democratic candidates, Paul Friel and Chrissy Houlihan, will talk about what is most important to them and to all of us in this very important 2020 election. Paul Friel is our local candidate for the PA House. If he wins, he will replace Tim Hennessy and turn the House blue. Paul owns a small business in the area and is a member of the OJR School Board. He will replace Hennessy's inaction with new ideas and dynamic action. Chrissy Houlihan, former Air Force officer and entrepreneur, has been our representative in U.S. House since 2018. She's proved influential in drafting bills related to Veterans Affairs and education. Her re-election will keep our important issues on the table and help to keep the U.S. House blue. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, our candidates for president and vice president, will be represented by video endorsements from the Lincoln Project, a group you've heard many things about, who are distraught about what has been happening in America under President Trump, and who see promise, indeed salvation, for our country in this team being elected in November 2020. Other things happening in this video? Well, we'll show you some photographs from the previous barnstorming events. You can see your neighbors. You can't see them this year, but you'll see them from the past year. And in the end, there'll be links providing you with information about the candidates and other important things for this upcoming election. Let the barnstorming begin.
We will never forget them, nor the last time we saw them, as they slipped the surly bonds of earth to touch the face of God.
Those who are lost now, their legacy must be our lives.
I can hear you, and the people who knocked these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
Amazing grace.
I am dispatching thousands and thousands of heavily armed soldiers. We dominate the streets.
I won't traffic in fear and division. I won't fan the flames of hate.
It's time to pick up our heads. Remember who we are. This is the United States of America.
Hi, East Nantmeal. I'm Paul Friel. This is Jimmy. He may or may not stick around for this virtual barnstorming. But I appreciate the invitation to talk to you. It's just a year ago, 2019, when I was running for school board and was able to come out and meet a lot of you guys in person and talk about the issues important to us in public education. We had Joshua Maxwell was out there too, talking about the county and the county commissioner race. And a lot of the issues that we talked about that day, about the environment, about taxes, about education, open space, those are the same, healthcare, those are the same issues that I need to talk to you about today, running for the state representative office. Let's talk about the environment. We live in a great community. We have tons of open space. We have, small farms. We have recreational areas, and we need to protect them. And unfortunately, we have not done a good job at the state government holding accountable as we make and build infrastructure here. I want to make sure, and I believe that we can build infrastructure and be good environmental stewards. We need to protect our drinking water. We deserve to have clean air, and it's important that we enact legislation and take action in Harrisburg. I want to talk about small business recovery. COVID-19 has impacted all our communities. People are out of work. People have lost incomes. Small businesses are really hurting. And we need to do more to help bring these businesses back up and help families recover from COVID-19. That's going to be one of the most important things we face as a state and as a country. See you, Jimmy. So we really need to make sure that the programs that we put in place are targeted to help our community and not Wall Street. It's really about protecting Main Street and our folks in our community and helping them. When I ran last year for school board, we talked a little bit about property tax. But in Harrisburg, that's where the rubber meets the road. That's where we have to take action. The state of Pennsylvania has consistently reduced the amount of funding that they put to public education, and that bill goes right on to our local property taxes. If I get to Harrisburg, I'm going to make sure that we try to decouple public education funding and property taxes. We have people on fixed incomes, we have senior citizens in their houses for their entire lives who have to make a choice now between rising property taxes and whether they can pay a medical bill or pay for the prescription medication. And that's fundamentally unfair. So the state of Pennsylvania must change the way it funds public education, and we need to do it equitably. Talk about healthcare issues for our senior citizens. Right now in the state of Pennsylvania, we have 12 bills that are there that could help protect senior citizens and all of us really from inflated prescription drug pricing that would help us put caps on premiums that we pay for medical coverage, that put minimum coverages in place for all Pennsylvanians. All 12 of those bills are stuck in committee and are not being brought to the floor for a vote. We need a change in leadership. The only way that we're going to bring these votes up, that we're going to make progress and make change, is to vote November 3rd and change the leadership in Harrisburg. I'm running because I believe I can make a difference. I'm running because I'm committed not to party politics, but to policy. I am committed to helping my neighbors and my community thrive once again as we recover from COVID-19. So again, I appreciate the invitation to come here and talk to you guys. You can get involved and look up our campaign at paulfriel.com or check us out on Facebook at Paul for PA. You can go and vote by mail-in ballot, which is the safest way to do it, by going to votespa.org or .com. Any one of these things is important to do. The most important thing you can do, though, this year is vote. Thank you.
My name is Dan Bargoff. I'm an ex-Navy SEAL turned emergency room physician and the founder of Veterans for Responsible Leadership. I'm an American combat veteran and a conservative. I don't agree with Joe Biden on many issues, but one thing we agree on is that we are a nation of laws, and the Constitution is a sacred document. It's a document that I fought for and some of my friends died for. Protecting our freedoms and the rules of the game is a fundamentally conservative act. President Trump shows no such respect for the Constitution. He and his cronies disrespect freedom of assembly, due process, and states' rights. Joe Biden will conserve the Constitution. He will conserve the rule of law. He will conserve the American dream as we've promised it to our children. Trump is weak. Trump is not conservative, but he's the most easily fixable problem in America today. A vote for Joe Biden in this election is a vote for our Constitution.
The Lincoln Project is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Hi everyone, it's Chrissy, and I know that it's a little silly, but I thought that I would include a different background for this conversation, because when many of us were last together, we were able to be in a beautiful barn talking about the importance of elections. And so I thought I would try and recreate that to some degree, and behind me is some of the beauty of Chester County and in the Valley Forge Park. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to say hi to everybody and to tell you about the importance of what it is that you're going to be doing over the next weeks and months to our nation, and to tell you just how important it is for our democracy, for all of us to get out the vote. And let me explain to you why I think that's so important. We have seen over the last 3 or 4 years, and particularly in the last 6 or so months, the importance of the democracy and the importance of democratic values with a big D. We've seen through the pandemic why all of the things we've always known to hold dear and were important to us are genuinely the right issues to be fighting for. Everything from a safe community and a safe planet, which I think is part of the reason why we have such a thing as a pandemic, all the way to access to affordable and quality health care for everyone, to make sure not just that people are healthy, but that we are collectively healthy, to issues like making sure that we have good jobs that treat each other with dignity and a living wage and equal pay for equal work, sick leave and child care. We now know, all of us, if we didn't already, why those things are so important. And so this election, and no, everybody always says it's the most important election of our lives, but I genuinely believe that to be the case. And we need to be doing everything that we can, both individually and collectively, to get out the vote. And what that means is making sure that if you haven't already requested your mail-in ballot, that you do. If you plan to vote in person, that you make a plan, that you make sure that you're talking to all of your friends and neighbors about the races that are important, both up and down the ballot, whether it's the race for the vice president, the race for Congress in the 6th Congressional District, or the race for many of our state representatives and senators, Paul Friel's race specifically. It's so important that we are active and energized in the same way that I know that we already have been in the past. So please do take this very, very seriously, as though our lives depend on it. I believe they do. And I'm really, really grateful for the opportunity to talk to you today virtually, and hopeful for the opportunity to see you in real life, as they say, soon. So please stay safe and be well, stay active and stay energized, and run like we're 20 points behind, because the stakes are just that high. Thanks very much, and I hope to see you guys soon.
A failed president, the worst economy in U.S. history. More Americans have died in this 4-month period than ever before. Donald Trump's response? Stop the election. He can't win. We voted during the wars. We voted in the Great Depression. We voted when civil unrest swept the country. Americans died for our right to vote. Americans marched for our right to vote. Americans were beaten and brutalized for our right to vote. Now a failed president faces defeat, with millions out of work and tens of thousands dying from his incompetence and neglect, threatening the very foundations of democracy. Donald Trump, here's the message. We will vote. We will defend America. We will throw you and your failed cronies out of office. The choice, America or Trump.
The Lincoln Project is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Oh, and one last thing. Let's win in November!